be a good partner, be great, have a great social life, be great at work. A lot of the women in my life are just extremely like capable, amazing brains. Hi, I'm Orla Gartland. I'm here with DIFFUS talking about my new album, Everybody Needs a Hero. I am a singer-songwriter, alt-pop artist from Dublin, living in London, and delighted to be here in Berlin.
How did you first get into music?
So my first, way back, my first instrument ever, I played the violin. I grew up in Ireland, so I probably like fiddle. We're talking like jigs and reels. I moved on to guitar when I was about 12, 13, and immediately just felt like it was almost like an extension of my limbs or something. It just felt really good to have a way to like express myself, especially when I was a teenager. Like, yeah, writing songs became a real safe place for me to just express whatever it was I couldn't, talk about in real life with friends, I guess. And just been writing songs ever since then. That's kind of how I got here, and I'm on almost 2 albums worth of, essentially musical diary entries. So yeah, I love it. It's the only job I've ever had, and I love it.
You started uploading cover songs as a teenager. How do you look back on being visible on the internet at a young age?
Yeah, that's definitely like quite strange sometimes, being so visible when you are younger and like growing into yourself and finding yourself. It's quite vulnerable. I think when you're younger, for me anyway, like I was just quite like bullish, and I had been playing guitar for like 2 weeks before I put my first YouTube video up, and I was like, everybody needs to hear this for some reason. But there was something to me like quite charming about, just like I was watching a lot of other musicians on YouTube and basically just wanted to like invite myself to the party.
How do you remember transitioning from that online space to playing in real life?
Yeah, I did start playing a few open mics near where I grew up in Dublin, but my main thing at that point was I went busking a lot in Dublin. It kind of actually reminds me of putting yourself online, busking, because you're not like ticketing your show and allowing people to find you. You kind of are just like shouting at people at the passing traffic. So it's like the internet in a way. You have to have this like ballsiness about you of like, yeah, I'm worth listening to. I'm worth like putting down your shopping bag for and like standing there. So whether you feel it or not, you have to have like a certain confidence and like loudness about you in that moment. And those 2 guys really taught me a lot with that.
What do you dislike about the term singer-songwriter?
I think singer-songwriter is completely what I do. I think anyone that starts a song with like voice and piano, voice and guitar, like as a format, it rings true. I think just like as a genre, I don't like connect with it, if that makes sense. So I don't know, I'll give myself like a full identity crisis if I think too much about it. Yeah, I think when I was in Dublin very early on, there were just a lot of like singer-songwriter men around that I just didn't find very inspiring. So my ick with the term may have like come from then. There are plenty of like good singer-songwriters, but I think for a few years I associated it with just like quite indulgent men. Yeah, I'll just say I'm a musician or a songwriter or a guitarist, depends like what like context I meet them in. But yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter. I just need to plant my flag in the ground and claim it,
Your first album was very personal, while the second one feels a bit more stylized. Was that your intention?
Yeah, 100%. And both something that was like somewhat intentional and also just probably something that comes with developing and like time. And yeah, I definitely wanted the second album to kind of jut out at the edges a bit more, I guess. And like, I think both records have like a kind of spectrum of energy. There's sad and sort of intimate and small moments, and then there are these like bigger, louder, more like arrogant, songs. And I think A Woman on the Internet did have that, but I think the second one does this a bit more. Like it's just the points are further from each other. Both albums have like light and shade and a lot of like dynamic jumps, and that's what I like, as a listener of other albums. But yeah, I would agree. I think the second album just commits to itself a bit more, and it takes the song and serves the song, but like, yeah, probably just commits and gives it a bit more of like a confident sound, some of it, yeah.
What is the visual concept of the album all about?
So yeah, the album's called Everybody Needs a Hero, and I worked with two amazing creative director friends of mine called Greta and Alex. And so when we planned the photo shoot that would make up the photos for this campaign and the album artwork, we were thinking a lot about the idea of a hero and like what that meant, thinking a lot about womanhood, of moving through the world as a girl and like trying to do everything and be everything and trying to kind of frantically run around and be a good partner, be great, have a great social life, be great at work. This kind of, you know, it's not exclusively a female experience, but a lot of the women in my life are just extremely like capable, amazing brains, and sometimes in that like are trying to help everyone else, and they fall down the list of their own priorities. And so those were a lot of the ideas we wanted to incorporate into what would end up being the album artwork, where I'm sort of this self-appointed hero that like no one asked for, and I'm sort of reaching for this phone, trying to answer the call and trying to help like everyone but myself.
What's next for you?
Yeah, lots of shows, I think. Yeah, there's like a lot of bucket lists, touring things that I want to do on this cycle, and also I've really wanted to tour in places like the States before, which is like purely just really expensive, quite boring, but really expensive. And so there's been plenty of things like that I've wanted to do in the past and just couldn't afford to do. So yeah, squirreling away my pennies over the years, I've like got myself a visa and I'm gonna go to the States and do my first tour there on this cycle. But I'd also love to go to Asia and Australia, you know, it's like that's really exciting to me as well. So I'll show up and I'll sing my little heart out. So lots of live shows is the hope.